Thanks for tuning into the show. You're probably thinking it's been a minute since we did an episode. Yep, life's gotten in the way a little bit. I've started rehearsals for a show. We just had some stuff kind of going on, real life problems. And, unfortunately, when the real life problems come up, the creative takes a back seat. So I do apologize for a little bit of a break, but we've got a couple episodes in the can that I got to get edited and uploaded. So you're going to see some new episodes over the next couple of weeks. And we're gearing up to jump back in. We're about halfway through season 1, and we're to pick back up with recording and keep this thing moving forward. But thank you guys for being patient with us. A few of you have messaged us, left comments on episodes asking, "Hey, what's going on? Everything's cool. Yeah, everything is fine. We just needed to take a little bit of time off to deal with some real life problems, but we are getting ready to head back to the island. Matter of fact, let's get to it right now." All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Not Penny's podcast. I am Michael, and alongside with me, as always, Rebecca. How are you? How are things in the Sunshine State? Because you're in Florida, I'm in Texas.
They're actually pretty good. It's not too hot, but we had that cold snap a couple weeks ago. We're finally starting to get warm again.
Oh, did
So
you? Did
the
it get down
sunshine,
in the
yeah.
what?
It was
I
like
used to
20
live in Florida,
something.
by the way, for those of you listening. I lived in Orlando until 2021. So, like, I know exactly what she's going through right now. I know exactly how cold it was when she said there was a cold snap. I know exactly how cold it was, but I want to hear her say it.
No, it was genuinely like 20 something.
Okay, that's legit cold. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
thinking,
it's not me going like, oh, 40, 50. No,
right, when we
girl,
say cold snap,
I'm from New Jersey. I know cold.
when we say cold snap in Florida, we mean like below like 45. Like, like
Yeah,
50, we're
yeah.
like,
No,
oh, it's cold outside. 45,
this
it's like,
was
what the hell?
legitimately, actually, genuinely real life cold.
We are here to talk about two more episodes this week. I find that the 2-to-1 ratio is pretty good because it gives us enough substance to talk about. So the show's a little longer than, half an hour or so. But we're not overwhelmed to like watch so much or only watch like and then have to record like one episode per week. So
Right.
I liked the 2 per 1. So
Yeah, I think it's a good flow.
I think we'll stick with that. So this week we are talking about episodes. This is from season 1, so we're talking about episodes 9 and 10. Episode 9, we'll start there. Obviously, this episode is called Solitary. It is a Saeed episode. This is coming right off of the torture, essentially, of Sawyer over Shannon's asthma inhalers, which they did reveal that he never had them, right?
Right, right,
Okay.
yeah. He got the kiss out of Kate because I'll tell you where they are, but I need to show Kate and whatever. And then after he gets what he wants, typical, he's like, I don't have them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't even have them.
I
What?
I don't even have them. I still wanna hit him for that, honestly.
So now we are here, like Saeed. We're gonna focus on Saeed in the next episode because that's gonna be something like that. When you break out a side of you that probably Saeed has not shown in quite some time, and it turns out you were actually all along were the kind of the bad guy. And now, will these castaways, will these people that you have to live with for the foreseeable future, will they ever trust you, or are you just, you know what, the Muslim terrorist that they assumed that you were? And because that's where in 2003, that's where
That's
most
exactly where
Americans'
they went.
minds went. So you can hate on me for saying that in the year of our Lord 2026, where that is not a PC thing. It was never a PC thing. But let me tell you, post 9/11 for about 5 years, it was
At
rough.
least.
At least 5 years. It
At
was
least,
rough.
yeah.
So I get why Saeed does what he does here. So I totally get this. But I liked the idea last week with going through your notes. I took notes this time, actually. Um,
Yay!
I did. I took notes mostly so that I don't jump ahead. Mm,
Okay.
But your notes really just go almost scene by scene, and it's such a good flow. I liked how that did. Like to say we stick with that. It's not broke.
Okay.
Let's not fix it.
Okay. until we get somebody who's like, well, I don't like her notes. Her notes are stupid and dumb. Like,
Somebody on Reddit, no.
I haven't gone there. I'm not allowed. Oh,
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
No.
Actually, funny enough, they're very good on there on that page about spoilers. Like, if you put something spoilery in your post, they'll flag it or they'll pull it pretty quickly.
that's
Honestly. The
awesome.
moderators are pretty awesome over there, but you can't stop anybody from what they might put, like a photo, even
Right.
even like, oh, here's a photo of this character that's not going to come in till season 5 that you don't even know about yet, and then I got to try to explain who the hell it is. Like.
Yeah.
Well, like, so
Okay.
all right, let's see where we go here.
Okay. So we open, and Saeed is doing his best Celine Dion in the sense that he is all by himself.
Great song.
Uh, that's, yeah, very good song. He's looking at a picture. The picture we've seen a couple of times before. Very beautiful woman. I assume incorrectly, because I'm a very bad guesser, that it is his wife. Because
Yeah.
very common back then, you carry a picture of your wife, your girlfriend.
I would have
And
the same thing.
yeah, very easy to assume that it's like a relationship of that sort. And then we find that there's a note on this thing. And I'm like, what does this note say? I'm assuming it's one of those like, my dearest Saeed, I love you forever type things. But as soon as I really start going into like, oh, there's a note, Saeed notices something. He notices a piece of rope, cable, something sticking out of the sand. What? And at first I was like, a trap door. But then I realized that it's like a mysterious cable or whatever that he starts following. Follow that cable, Saeed. Cool, cool, cool. But before he gets too far in, we go back over to the beach crew where Sawyer is being a crybaby about getting stitches removed. And of course, he just has to be dramatic about it, accusing Jack of feeling guilty about letting Saeed torture him and like, you don't actually want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, you just want to buy your way to heaven. And I'm just like, chill out, man. He's upholding the Hippocratic Oath. He literally took an oath. He has to do this whether he wants to or not. Shut your mouth.
It's Sawyer best be glad the Hippocratic Oath exists
Exists.
because I'm almost certain that there are a couple of times that you could see Jack just wanted to walk off. Like,
Oh, right.
here's the bandage, shoot yourself. Like I'm not, not doing with this.
And Jack straight up says, like, I'm here because no one else wants anything to do with you.
Yes. Yep.
Which,
You're-
yes,
no one
put
else
that
wants-
man in his place. Yeah. Like, put him in his place, Jack. Thank you.
Saeed has found a cable coming out of
And
the
he's
ocean.
following it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not something you see every day. Meanwhile,
no.
Kate is very worried about him. Jack thinks he's off looking for something. He's just got to go find something. He's on his own walkabout, like Locke.
What do you mean Jack's all of a sudden a man of faith?
Right?
Mr. Man of Science over here is like, oh, Saeed's on a walkabout. It's fine. He'll be fine. He'll come back when he's figured it out. Like,
When he's figured it out. Like, girl, where has this been?
where's
This been 8 episodes.
Yeah.
But Kate's like, no. He left because of what he did. Which she's not wrong. She
No.
probably knows him better than anybody does at this point. But she knows many of the characters better than the others do at this point. Which, given what she says later on in this episode, I'm like, okay, so like fast forward for a second. It's just very interesting that she considers herself an outcast. Like, because she says to Sawyer later, like, one outcast to another, like, try getting along or whatever. But meanwhile, she knows stuff about him. She knows stuff about Jack. She knows stuff about Saeed. Like, she knows these people better than some of the other castaways do, but she still perceives herself as and an outcast of sorts.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's interesting, Kate.
Yeah, it's almost like a
Very interesting.
deprecating thing. Because really at this point, who all knows that she's a felon? I mean, obviously Kate knows, Hurley knows, Jack knows.
Hurley, Sawyer might, I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know,
Marshall's
but
dead.
it definitely, yeah, Marshall's dead. Well, Jack knew that much that it was a Marshall. Not Jack, Sawyer. But yeah, Jack and Hurley know for sure. I don't know. But like really nobody really knows.
So even with Sawyer, only 3 castaways other than Kate herself know. So yeah, I feel like Kate puts this outcast thing on herself
Yeah.
and kind of projects that, oh, poor me. I'm misunderstood and no one, and but no one knows my deep dark secret, but I'm such an outcast because like for what? Like I don't
Yeah.
like for what? Like tell everybody on the island that you about this thing and then you'll find out then we'll see what happens. But for right now,
Exactly.
you're just kind of
You're
playing
fine.
victim. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're fine, Kate. Anyway, back to Saeed. He's following this cable and he finds some tripwire. What kind of operation has a surprise cable and a tripwire? Like, I am now intrigued.
Yep.
But he is not very good at evading said tripwire because it got him.
You got
He got. He gets hoisted up. He's hanging upside down. There's like a big sharp stick or something hanging out of his leg. That can't be good. That's not pretty. That can't feel nice. And a mysterious stranger cuts him down. But something tells me that's not Locke. That is a big old fancy knife, but that doesn't look like one of Locke's knives that live in his suitcase.
his case full of knives that he checked.
I love my case full of knives. Anyway, so we skip away from Saeed for a second. We're back with, I guess, the cave crew at this point, because Hurley is just like, Jack, everyone's tense. Jack is like, well, I'm more concerned with keeping everybody alive. I have a job to do. This is very, very serious. And Hurley's just like, I'm bored, man. Like, I need something to do. Again, voice of the audience.
Voice of the audience.
I think this is when we first meet the hypochondriac guy, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
Who I don't think has a name. I don't know his name.
I don't know, but Hurley's going on about being bored. Meanwhile, this guy's like, I have hot. Like, what is this? What is this rush?
Dog. Yeah.
It's just hives, man. You're just stressed out.
fine.
Like, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
so that's a very fun B plot. Um, I actually really enjoyed the B plot this episode, but no time for that because now we find that there's power on the island when Saeed wakes up in a bunker of sorts. Surprise, surprise. There is power. We hear somebody ask, where is Alex? I think this is a flashback at first until we actually go into a flashback of Saeed torturing / interrogating somebody. And you're like, oh, so he's about to process all of his past compared to what he just did to Jack, while now also being a captive himself.
Right.
There are a lot of layers going on
How
here.
quickly the
Yeah.
tables turned.
My how the turn yes, my how the turntables.
Might have the turns have tabled.
And he's talking with his superior. They're outside of their base, and we see the woman in the picture. There she is in the flesh, and she's a prisoner. What?
What?
Like, that's not what I was expecting at all. Obviously.
Yeah.
But the flashbacks are so fast this episode because as soon as they start one, they take you right back into current time. Because then we find Locke and some other random guy who I do not trust other random guy, but that's for next episode. I do not trust Ethan.
Is our introduction to Ethan.
It was kind of jarring just to see Locke with some other guy out hunting. I'm like, where did you find this man, Locke?
Well,
Like,
we've never seen the Hive guy.
right.
So it made sense to be like, all right, we'll put
It's just
Ethan.
some other random guy.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
all right, this guy, but this guy gets a name. Like, other guy didn't get a name. They just called him Dave or
Right.
something. Like, all right, that's
Yeah.
A. All right, cool. Like, we're just meeting new castaways. Awesome.
Yeah. But we don't know that Ethan's name is Ethan yet, but
Okay, we don't.
that's
Okay.
he's no, we don't know that until next episode.
Is it okay? See, that's why I see that note I didn't take. But I'm glad to see we're not doing one for one because you wouldn't have known that yet. See, that's
Right. I would just been like, that's some man out hunting at night, and they came back with the big suitcase, and they're like, "Here you go, Hurley, check this out." And Hurley's like, "Oh, okay, at least it's something to do."
Hmm.
It's nighttime. Walt wakes up, asks to go hunting with Locke because he thinks his dad is asleep. As soon as the words, "Can I go hunting with you?" are out of that little boy's mouth, Michael is like, "The fuck you are?" Yeah, what do you think you're doing? That poor man has not slept a night since being on that island, I swear.
No.
And he still doesn't trust Locke, and I kinda get it, but I'm also like, if anything, Locke is gonna teach the kid survival skills, which is clearly what he wants. But
Anything, I don't think Michael really trusts anybody.
that too. That too. But cut to Hurley, he's rifling through the suitcase, his eyes light up, he's like, "Hell yeah," you can tell he found something really cool. And I cannot wait to find out what that is. But before we find that out, we have to go back to Saeed in the bunker. He's still being tortured by somebody that we have not met yet. We haven't seen this person. They're interrogating him, like, "Where'd you come from? Who are you?" And he's just like, "I survived a plane crash." Uh, what? Explains the situation. Okay. I don't know what that note means. Um, so we finally see the person that's been interrogating him. It's a woman because the recording he brings up, like, yeah, it's been 16 years since this recording. We see the woman, she's like, 16 years? Has it really been that long? Like, oh, it's you. We found her. We thought she was dead, but it was her. But then she claims to know what he is and then knocks him out. This woman is just like, and knocks him out every chance she gets this episode. Um,
That's yeah, that's
Not
very
that
sad.
I blame her, but she's just like, bam.
Yeah.
So he notices the batteries. He's like, "Hey, how are you broadcasting that those batteries aren't going to broadcast for 16 years?" "Oh, I broadcast from somewhere else, but they control it now." "Who are they?" So she's saying that there's another group on this island? Interesting, interesting. We find out her name is Russo. She asks Saeed about the woman in the picture. We find out her name is Nadia. We're immediately thrown into a flashback where Saeed has tasked with interrogating Nadia.
Yeah.
And that is where we find out that they were kids together. She taunted him because she liked him. He thought that she didn't like him because he didn't pick up on the clue of like, hey, she's teasing me because she likes me.
Right.
So, like, that's it's cute aside from this potential traitor interrogation
Yeah, I always kind of had
dynamic.
the idea, like when I rewatched this back, I was like, I've never really thought about it. I'm like, I guess, did Nadia kind of become I don't want to say I guess like a revolutionary,
Mhm.
or at least like a political activist. She's out probably doing stuff some people may call terrorism, but she's doing it all in the name of good. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what she's gotten mixed up in. And
Hmm.
Saeed obviously is in the Republican Guard.
And he's like, I just need you to tell me who these people are. Like, I don't want to hurt you. And she's basically like, listen, do what you got to do. You can't hurt me. I've been hurt before. She starts showing him all of like the acid that was thrown on her and all of her other scars and like just all of the other torture methods that have been implemented on her before. And he looks so disturbed by the fact that she has endured all of that. Meanwhile, that's literally his job. So,
Yep.
but it's different when it's somebody you know actually enduring those things as opposed to some random person you capture. But before we can think about that too much, Walt is bored. That poor kid is so bored. He wants to take his dog to the beach, and Michael's just like, you can't be bored. You gotta find something to do. You can't think about being bored. You have to do something important. Meanwhile, is he sketching now or is he just standing there? I don't really remember. But he comes up with that really cool sketch. I don't remember. But Walt being a kid.
Right. He's being a typical 10-year-old kid who's deserted on an island.
Yeah, and Michael is just being kind of boomerish about it. Like, how can you be bored right now?
Yeah.
Don't be bored. Not that easy. We're back to the bunker with Russo and Saeed, and she's just very suspicious about the fact that Saeed is alone because he's claiming that there are other survivors. She's basically like, why are you by yourself? And he's just like,
I mean, it is suspicious.
I need to be. It is when he's like, there are 40 something other people. Okay, well, where are these other
Where are they
40
at?
people? Where are they? Meanwhile, she's asking about Robert and Alex, and Saeed is like, well, who are Robert and Alex? Where are Robert and Alex? But she asks about Nadia, where Nadia is. He's like, oh yeah, she's dead. And I was just immediately like, what did Saeed do? What? No, you can't give me this really cute story and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't do that to me. But they did. And then we don't even get full resolution because pretty much as soon as that happens, we're back in the caves again. Because Michael, Mr. Background in Construction, has come up with the plan to it's like a plumbing and irrigation type thing to make showers and separate clean water and dirty water.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. I could never do it. And Jack is like, you thought of this? Like you're an architect? You're like the what? And Michael's like, well, yeah.
I'm not the only smart person.
I guess he's finally realized if you're gonna be there. Right? Right? Like, what do you mean? And Hurley comes rushing in. He's like, you guys, you gotta come with me. I have something very cool to show you because he built a golf course. A glorious 2-hole for now golf course.
I feel like this entire scene, the entire scene in the golf course is one of the is probably one of the sweetest moments in the entire series. And it's been immortalized too because when the show was coming out, I had Hurley at one time and I keep saying with all my adult money, I'm going to buy them again. But Todd McFarlane McFarlane Toys did Lost action figures. But obviously they weren't action figures. They were like statues. They were really nice. And Hurley's is him holding
wow.
the pin with the Hawaiian shirt on the stick.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and not everybody got one.
That's
I think they
amazing.
only did like 8 of them.
Oh,
You can look into them when we get to like season 2 because
okay.
I feel like
Okay.
I feel like season 2 was when they were like making them, and there's stuff and there's characters in season 2 that I don't want you to see. So don't look into this.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So Hurley and Charlie are like very proud of themselves with this golf course, and Michael and Jack are being super judgmental about it. And they're like, well, this was a waste of time. Like, we have more important things to do, blah, 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 blah. Like, really side eyeing Hurley and Charlie for this because Charlie's just like, hell yeah, like, let's play golf, right?
Right.
But Hurley has a point between the boars and the monsters and the polar bears. They need a distraction. Like, they just need something fun. It's
Morale
way too
is
much
not
gloom and doom.
great.
Right. If they were Sims, their little plum bobs would be like all
Oh my God.
bright
If they were Sims, they would be on the ground after peed themselves.
exactly.
Just laying in their own pee, waiting for the Grim Reaper to show up. The
Exactly.
butler is just cleaning the house around you. Those awkward moments by the
Flies
old school
everywhere.
old school Sims games. Oh my gosh. Before they got all
Miss them.
3D
I
art,
miss
they
them
were
so much.
so fun.
Yeah.
Because you would die and like the neighbors would come by and like visit and like try and hang out with you, but you can't answer the door because you're dead. And like
Exactly.
the butler, I one time the butler like accidentally set the house on fire, or the maid maybe, and the fire department came and put the fire out and left me laying there.
Oh,
You'd
jeez.
have to
Of
wait for the
course.
Grim Reaper to show up, and the Grim Reaper takes you and buries you in the yard. But until that point, like it's life is normal. Like
You're just there. You're
you
just
dare
there.
to, Got a backlog. You can't get to everybody so fast.
He's a very busy guy.
He's big capacity.
So we're back in the bunker. Russo is talking to Saeed, shows him this music box that is long since broken. It was very important to her, but it hasn't played music in years. And Saeed is like, I can fix it for you. Not everything that's broken is like forever broken. And for some reason, she gets suspicious about that. She's just like, why do you want to fix the music box? Like, what? And then she sedates him
Yes.
right after I'm just like, girl, why are you doing that? Why are you always knocking this man out? Russo. She's something else. But back at the golf course, Jack has agreed to play. He's like, you know what? Fine. Hurley's not going to leave me alone until I take a swing. But as soon as he goes to swing, Mr. Hypochondriac Man runs up. I thought he was about to ruin the vibe because he's like, what are you doing? But he was just like, oh, wait, you guys are playing golf? Like, I want to play. He
Yeah.
immediately flips. He's like, yes. See, Hurley might have been right, Jack. Like, get your head out of your ass.
That's what everybody needed, right? Everybody needed a little recreation.
Exactly. They needed a distraction. They needed some fun.
Right.
Right. But we find out that Russo knocked out Saeed just so she could move him. Because she does, in fact, want him to fix the music box, but she wants to know why. And he's just like, because I want to, because I can.
Yeah.
There's no ulterior motive here, Russo. We find out her first name is Danielle. So that's a fun little fact. And that she was part of a science team, as was Robert, the man that gave her the music box. And she tells Saeed how she came to the island because her instruments were malfunctioned, like on their boat. I think it was a boat. Yes. At night during a storm after leaving Tahiti, and they were shipwrecked.
Yep.
Alex, Robert, and Danielle were shipwrecked. Then she continues to tell Saeed how she came to be the only one left out of the three. They went to some place called Black Rock.
Yeah.
They got sick, but it was them. It was the others. They were the carriers. Like, who are the others? Who are these people? What is the Black Rock? What is the significance of the Black Rock? I don't know yet. I still don't know. Probably not going to know for like another 16 freaking episodes. Who knows?
I think you find out this season.
Okay.
You have any guesses? What would do you have any theories at all? What the Black Rock might be?
I mean, I didn't really think about it too much, but black rock is usually hardened lava in that sense.
Okay,
Yeah, like in a literal sense, black rock is
like volcanic
like,
rock.
yeah, volcanic rock. They're on an island. That would make sense to me. Taking away the real life Hawaii aspect of it, just tropical island, it could be volcanic rock. Um,
Okay,
Other than that, I
not a
don't
lot of
know.
context to go off of. Yeah,
Not a lot of context. No,
yeah.
like because it could just be, for all we know right now, it could just be one of those like landmarker type things. Like you see a big red rock, you'd be like, oh yeah, like there's the red rock.
Right.
Just just some sort of identifier. Yeah, no context yet. We do find that the others whisper. According to Danielle, the others whisper.
Mhm.
And my nerdy brain was like, yeah, okay. Like the whispers from The Walking Dead. Like,
See, I didn't watch Walking Dead.
I didn't get that far in the show because I got mad at the show, but
I've
I
heard that a lot. I've heard that
is
a lot.
one of my grudges. But I did read most of the comics, but then I also stopped reading the comics because I got sad for the same reason I got mad at the show. Um, but there is a group in the comics and in the show called the Whisperers, and they wear walkers' faces on their faces. They have like W's carved into the forehead, and they sort of just like whisper while they maneuver. If I'm remembering correctly, it has been a number of years, but it's a group in The
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
And I mean, and I know it's early. This is the first episode where we ever hear about things like the Black Rock. We've got
The
the
others.
crazy fresh woman talking about others. You know, so I know it's
Yeah.
early, like, but like, what? Who are the others? What is like? What is this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
Yeah. Meanwhile, she's just info dumping because she hasn't seen another person in like 16 years.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
oh, it's a lot to take in, but it's also a lot to release at the same time on her end.
Okay.
So, we're in another flashback. Saeed is trying to do everything he can to get Nadia free unharmed. He's just like, listen, just give us some names. Like, you can go. He's just like, just cooperate. Like, I don't want to hurt you. Come on. Like, but she thinks that he's just trying to be something he's not by playing his role and doing his job in interrogation. And I think she's getting to him a little bit at this point. Like, she's got him thinking some things. And
Yeah.
there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. We love a good inner struggle, especially when it's on a morality level. Like,
Mm, mhm.
Boone finds out about the golf course. Shannon and Kate are like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna go to the golf course. That sounds like fun. Sawyer is being Sawyer. He's sort of just like, ugh, why are you guys doing that? And that's when,
Doctor playing golf. What are you gonna tell the
yes,
audience? Stop
exactly.
eating a donut.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a
And
great.
that's
It's
when
such a
Kate
great storyline.
it's a great line. I did enjoy that one. I'm like, "Okay, you get half a point for that, Sawyer." And that's when Kate's like, "Listen, from one outcast to another, I think about making more of an effort," which she's not wrong. Maybe you would be public enemy number 2 or 3 if you made more of an effort. Surprise, surprise, the music box works again. Danielle is happy about that, but Saeed wants to leave now. He's like, "You know what? I I would like to go now, please. Please and thank you." And Danielle is like, "No, you need me because it's not safe." We hear a mysterious roaring outside. What is that noise? Saeed's like, what in the world? Nadia is like, if we're lucky, it's one of the bears. He's like, what about the monsters? There's no such thing as monsters. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen pretty compelling evidence so far that there are monsters, but,
And I'm under the assumption this is the same thing that killed the pilot.
right, exactly. That
It's the same thing we
so
heard in the
so
pilot that we were like, "Oh my god, is it a dinosaur
yeah.
or a Cloverfield monster?"
I was gonna say it's the Cloverfield monster, come on.
You know what? I'm not gonna foreshadow. So, all right, maybe it is.
And
Maybe it is a giant fucking Cloverfield type monster.
it's just my catch-all description at this point until I know for certain what it is. No, it's
It's
just
like
the
the
Cloverfield
it's like
monster.
the Predator. It can make itself clear.
A At this point, anything's possible.
I mean,
We haven't actually seen it yet, so we don't know.
haven't seen it yet, so you
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't know anything. Okay, back in the flashback town, it's been a month since Nadia's been a captive. Saeed hasn't been able to get her to talk. She is strong in her morals of not ratting out her accomplices. But Saeed's superior is getting very upset about this and is now like, we got to execute her. You have not been able to produce results. We got to do something. So Saeed, this scene kind of broke me a little bit. He opens up the door to where they're keeping her and she's like, oh, like, what do you have for me today? And he tosses her the execution hood.
The hood.
The hood, like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Did you get the feeling that Saeed's superior maybe knew that Saeed and Nadia were acquaintances, possibly even friends, and that this
I
all was possibly not really a test, but almost kind of a way to try kind of torture Saeed a little bit by making him do these terrible things to someone that he knew outside of the army.
I definitely think that there was some sort of suspicion, especially because when we first meet Saeed in this interrogation setting, he's getting results, right? He's getting answers from the first person that he tortures when we first start these flashbacks.
Right.
And his superiors are like, yeah, you're doing a great job. You don't have to call me sergeant or whatever his title is when it's just the two of us, but Saeed is like out of respect. But then we get to this Nadia situation, and suddenly it's a month and he's not being able to produce the same results. So I think there has to be some sort of suspicion there. And
I don't know why. I just always had maybe it's just and he's like overbooking and or like overwriting a show. I always had this suspicion that his superior officer knew obviously they knew who she was. They've been looking for her. They now have her and he's known maybe all along or he finds out somebody somehow else, somewhere else that Saeed has known her. They went to school together or they were like friends as kids together and it's kind of a two-handed thing. Like, oh, if I put Saeed here, he's gonna know the most about her. She might feel free, really like open to talking to him. And the other one is because he knows it's gonna affect Saeed to have to do this to her. And if she doesn't give him the answers, like it's gonna lead us to where we are essentially now.
right. And I think it's also safe to assume that off screen, his superior does find out like that they do know each other because with all the intelligence that they've got going on, they have to have run some sort of background. And at least seeing that maybe they came from the same town, I think it's very likely that the superior eventually found out that there was a connection between the two and was sort of like, well, if you're not going to produce these results, like, sorry, your friend's got to go.
So that's where we are. He's taking the hood in because unfortunately there's nothing he can do. He's gonna have to do his job.
Right. Because if he doesn't do his job, then he's the one that's
Right.
going to end up with the hood on his head.
And she even
Oh,
tells him she tries to get him to run. And he was like,
right.
that's desertion. They'll kill my family.
Yeah. He's stuck there. Even if he doesn't agree with what they're doing anymore, like he is stuck there because he doesn't want his family to be harmed.
Right.
It's a crappy situation to be in. But he is a clever man now in present day because he saved the little screwdriver from when he fixed the music box. So he's able to break free from his little handcuff shackle thingies, steals some plants that Danielle had on the table,
Mm.
but left Nadia's picture. He's leaving his past behind him. And it was kind of a sad moment, but very,
Symbolic.
yes, it's a symbolic thing, which he does say later on. But surprise, surprise, everyone is loving this golf thing.
Oh yeah.
Both the cave people and the beach people have gathered to watch this mini golf tournament. Looks like Hurley was right after all. Who's surprised? I'm not surprised. Not at all. Um, it's kind of annoying that Jack and Michael were trying to make him feel stupid for wanting to have some fun. But even even Jack has seen the error of his ways.
Right.
He's like, I haven't been sleeping, trying to keep everyone safe. Hurley built a golf course and everyone feels safe because it's some shred of normalcy in a very abnormal situation. But Walt shows up unattended, just randomly waltzes onto the golf course, sees Michael. Michael's like, "What are you doing here? I thought you were with Claire. Claire's asleep. Why are we putting this much responsibility on a heavily pregnant woman?"
Right.
Like that's not fair, Michael. I can see why your wife left you. Um,
Well, Jim won't let Son. Kate's too busy being Kate. Really, like
yeah,
Rose?
Shannon.
Shannon. Yes.
Perfect babysitter.
Oh,
Uh, Michael's like, "Hey, we're playing golf. Do you want to learn how to play golf?" And Walt's like, "No, I don't want to," and leaves. He disappears again. And this show is already kind of giving, I don't know what to do with a kid in terms of writing.
9 episodes in.
9 episodes in, they're like, "Oh, yeah, we didn't realize what we were getting into with writing a child into this." But Saeed is in the woods. He's sneaking up on Danielle. She has a gun. He has a gun. This is either very smart or very dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
Rousseau removed
Danielle's
the firing pin,
I know,
and Robert didn't notice either.
and this is when we find out that Danielle killed Robert and potentially Alex because they were sick. What were they sick from? She's just
That's
rambling on.
that was
I
good.
don't
The
know.
questions I have are pretty much all about Russo. Because, I mean, that's pretty much
Okay.
what this episode was about, was yeah, the
Yes.
flashback stuff is important, and the cave stuff is important. The golf, you needed the golf because we needed that positive morale boost on the show.
But
There's so
like
much stuff going
Russo
on.
does.
But this Russo stuff in this cabin lair, you know, hidey hole is the
Yeah.
most important vital stuff in this episode because holy shit, the 16, year French lady is not dead. And
Nope.
she never got rescued.
That doesn't
That
bode well for everybody else.
right. Okay, so do you think that Rousseau has actually, like, lost, like, mental cognization? Like, she's actually slipped into, like, essentially being crazy? Or is a lot of this just really, really bad trauma? Because she's got, like, batteries and she's got all these supplies and she's set all these traps so she can
Sh
catch food. Like,
Yeah,
she's
so
kind of
she can
adapted
still
to
make
living
things
on the
go.
island. She's definitely institutionalized to life on the island.
Yeah, she still has her wits about her enough to rig electricity with batteries and all these traps and all of that. But when it comes to the social aspect, I think I think the trauma and the isolation have taken over because she's like, "You can't leave. I don't have anybody to talk to. Like, I can't touch anybody else." Like, she's just getting super clingy over this person that she keeps knocking out every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
She's kind of open for some Stockholm syndrome here,
right? Ugh.
where Saeed
At
won't
least
want to leave her. Yeah. But would she have
she's
eventually
just
thought,
very
would see Saeed eventually have gotten sick and she may have killed him?
or what she would perceive as sick
Right.
is what was the
What is
qualifier for
Right. This is the first time we ever hear a character that we're not really sure if she's how sane or she is. So we're not really sure how serious we should be listening to her. And she's talking about the others and these whispers and Robert and Alex got sick. She killed Robert. We don't really know what happened to Alex. Did Alex just like essentially just if they were sick, did they just die? Or did they succumb to death on the island? Like we don't know what happened to Alex just yet.
and that's a lot to take in when you're still processing what happened to you with your plane crash, and then you suddenly find this lady who's dumping all of these other things on you, and you're just like, "Wait a minute. Like, what in the world?" Suddenly, a plane crash doesn't sound so bad.
I guess there's not a lot of context in this because things just got revealed. This is the very first time we ever hear, another character refer to there being a sickness, that there's
Mhm.
possibly other people. Like,
Yeah.
so a lot of this is, it's too early, but do you have any wild theory? You want to throw something at the wall, see if it sticks?
I really don't know because I'm still just I watched all of this last night. Um, so it's still very much marinating in my brain,
Which I think
but
is like a good sweet spot.
yeah,
Like if we could get it to where like you watched the night before we recorded, like such a good sweet spot because you've got your notes and it's fresh.
right. Right, exactly. So I really don't know, but she now also claims that there aren't monsters, that there are other people.
How reliable is Danielle? Like she's telling you all of this on the island. How much do we really want to buy in on?
Oh, right now I think I would give her like a 5.
Okay.
Just because what she's saying is rooted in some sort of truth, whether it's a half truth, whether it's trauma restructuring things.
Mhm.
Right now, I'll give her about a 5.
Okay.
She doesn't give me a reason to not trust her, but also these are the ramblings of a crazy lady.
Mhm. All right. So I think that's the end of that episode. Or we have a little bit more.
We have a little bit more.
We have a little bit. Okay.
Well, we find out that the note on Nadia's picture is "You'll find me in the next life, if not this one." And that's when he goes like, "I was holding on to my hope that she was still alive, and I'm moving forward now. I spent so much time living in the past that I wasn't, like, here." And I think maybe his interactions with Danielle sort of shocked him back into the present with, like, "Okay,
Pun fully
I
intended.
can't keep doing that." Yes. Walt wants to know how to throw knives from Locke because apparently he knows how to wander into the woods and just find this man. That's not weird or anything. But, I guess throwing knives is a cooler skill than playing golf. More useful on the island too. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But the very last scene in the show is Saeed. He's hearing the whispers in the wind. Things are getting really creepy. And then that's it. It was very rude of
Saeed
him.
actually hears whispering.
Yes, he hears whispering.
And this is the
And
first
then,
time we hear. We're like, wait,
yes. Yeah,
wait,
like, wait,
there's
is it real?
whispering. Like, is Danielle actually telling us the truth?
And now we start getting to the cliffhanger endings of episodes. I'm like, well, this is mean. And I don't
Yeah,
like
and
that.
okay, yeah, that's fine. That's that's nice. I feel so bad for you because how do you feel when you have to wait a week to watch it again? And when Lost is debuting, DVR Not a thing.
No, no, you had to wait.
You had to on demand is not a thing. All of this comes
Oh,
while Lost is airing. I think I started TiVoing Lost. And I say TiVoing because I had a TiVo.
that's what it was. You had a
I
TiVo?
had a TiVo. I
Oh
did.
my god.
I had a TiVo. I want to say I started TiVoing Lost in the 4th season,
Okay.
maybe the 3rd season.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. I VHS taped season 2 because I was in a show. I was in rehearsals. VCR recording season 2.
Oh, damn.
I don't know where those tapes are now, but they are out there somewhere in the world. They could be in a landfill somewhere, but they were out there. I had all of season 2 on VHS that I
Imagine if
recorded.
the guy that ha imagine if the guy that has that YouTube channel just plays mysterious VHS tapes
Mhm.
finds your recordings of
That'd
Lost.
be amazing. I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking about Matt something. I know him on TikTok. He has the Video Garage, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's got the
I
big
think
red
so.
beard.
I think so.
Okay, yeah,
He might,
I got
'cause there's
he's on
this guy
TikTok.
on
It's
YouTube.
yeah, this guy's on TikTok, but he's got a Patreon where he actually uploads the actual like full videos that are on the videotapes, so you can watch them. Like
Oh my gosh, that's
all the
amazing.
videos from his video, all the tapes from his videos. Yeah, I've thought about getting on the Patreon because I want the membership card. He's got like little
Does it look like a Blockbuster card?
well, yeah, it's red, it's white, it's laminated, so it's white, and it says, like, the Video Garage, and it's like but it looks like an old, like, Blockbuster or an old, like, video rental card. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mhm. Speaking of
That's a
Blockbuster, I keep meaning to buy yeah, have you seen the decals you can put over the top of your debit card?
Yes.
Yeah, I got my new debit card from my bank, and they finally switched it to where my
Uh,
name's on the back, so I wanna get the Blockbuster sticker
like the Blockbuster. Yes.
because my name's on the back of the
Amazing.
card now, and then the numbers are on the back of the card.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I can finally do it. Alright. So that's episode 9, our first Saeed episode. We're gonna get a lot of first episodes from people before we get a lot of repeats. I think I think Kate might be our first repeat. So, and I guess you kinda
Okay.
decide how important you are on Lost based off how many flashback episodes you have and how quickly they started showing your backstory. Because I feel like there's some people that never got them. And I feel like some
Oh,
people got
wow.
1. I'm like, "Okay." Like, that's all we got. I think Boone and Shannon get, like, maybe 1 or 2. And I'm like, "Alright, that's it." Like, that's all you need. And without giving it away, I have told you that we've had this conversation that every show has notoriously bad episodes. Just every show's got
Yes.
them. There's an entire episode of Game of
Yes.
Thrones that was filmed with lighting so low that you couldn't see the picture. Come on. Like, there's notoriously bad episodes in every TV show. That episode for Lost
Mhm.
is in a later season, and it is a 1 episode flashback story about a castaway, and it makes no sense.
Really?
And it's like, what is this?
Oh my god.
It's
They just really needed an episode that week.
it is it no, it really is. Like, I've told you about the Getting Lost documentary. They talk about
Yeah.
this episode in that documentary.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it is universally voted by fans as the worst episode of the series, and I can't wait till we get to it. Oh my god, that's gonna be such a fun show because it also has Lost one and only, I believe, their one and only celebrity cameo.
I cannot wait to find out who this celebrity cameo is.
You will never guess it in a million years. You will never pull this name out of your ass, I promise you. Like, don't even stress about it. You will not guess. Like, I will tell you, by next week, we're gonna go like this is just because I just want to see what you come up with. Okay.
Mhm.
When we go to record next week for the next
Yeah.
episodes, which we still gotta talk about episode 10 on
Mhm.
this one. But we go to next week, we can
Yeah.
talk about episodes 11 and 12. I want you to come back with 10 names of who you think that celebrity cameo is. Because I want to see in 10 guesses, and I'm not even going to tell you if you're right. I'm going to have no reaction at all. I just want to see 10 names that you've put thought into. And I want to see what you come up with because I want to see if that name is on that list.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you right now. The number one on my list is Clint Howard.
It is not Clint Howard. That would be the best, though.
It seems in line with something he would do.
However,
It just shows up.
there
Mhm.
is there is a role, a little character that's going to come along in later seasons that is
Okay.
played by a Clint Howard aura, like kind of.
Okay.
He's one of those character actors that's like I can name like 5 movies he's in, but I can't name any of the characters he played. But I know I can name 5 movies off the top of my head that he is in.
Oh, he's like a that guy.
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
He's
Okay.
that guy. And he comes in later and he's only there for like a little bit of an arc. And it's just like, all right, cool. Like, but that's their Clint Howard moment.
Okay.
Because if you don't know who Clint Howard is, he is the brother of Ron Howard. He makes cameos in every Ron Howard movie.
And
Essentially has
one
made
of
a
the
career
Austin
out of that.
Powers. Yeah.
And then he's done his own thing too. He's in Austin Powers. Look up Clint Howard. Looks nothing like his brother.
Not at all.
Not at all. So, all right. So let's
Okay.
move on here to our next episode, which is episode 10, Raised by Another. And this is our first look into Claire. Lots of Australian accents in this episode.
Lots of them. And I understood I definitely got what you were talking about last week with the accents coming and going where you can't tell if like that's an actual Australian
Right.
person.
Because they filmed it in
Because like
Hawaii.
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
because
you really
Travis's
flying in
accent,
Australian actors?
right? No, no, girl.
Maybe sometimes
'Cause
you
yeah,
are, but not all the time.
maybe.
Not everybody could.
'Cause yeah, the guy that plays Claire's ex-boyfriend definitely has one of those floating accents.
He just does a European accent, and you're like, all right.
Okay.
Make his lines really short. You don't hear enough of it at a time to determine if it's an accent or not.
Nope. Alright. So, in this episode, Claire is having very vivid, very brutal nightmares. We first when we first open her, you're like, "Okay, is this a dream sequence or is it real?" Because she's feeling her baby, she hears baby cries, she starts wandering in the woods in the dark. So smart, Claire. I love that for you. Like, excellent survival skills. Love that. She runs into Locke, who's, like, got a whole layout with crystals, and he's, like, playing solitaire, but he's flipping them like tarot cards almost, and his eyes are pitch black.
Yeah.
And he's very ominous. "He was your responsibility, but you gave him away. Everyone pays the price." Blah, blah, blah. Very scary. Very scary. I can see why she woke up screaming.
Great thing for Locke to be doing.
Yes!
It would just been weird if he didn't Jack.
Or Sawyer. That
Locke, just creepy stuff.
perfect. But it's just very creepy scenes in the woods. There's the crib with the oceanic mobile, and suddenly there's blood. Lots of blood. She wakes up screaming. There's blood on her hands. Charlie's trying to calm her down, but, like, there's actual blood. Like, what in the world? What happened? Claire, what did you do? Like, were you actually dreaming or was this real? So, of course, Jack, Savior Jack, is asking Claire questions about, like, what happened. Like, are you really sure you should have been flying with your pregnancy, how far along you are? Very casual baby questions. But Claire's answers are getting a little shifty. She's like, "Yeah, no, I totally got cleared. It's fine. Everything's awesome." We're like, "You sure about that?" We find out that her pregnancy was not planned. She's kind of crashing out when she takes her positive test. And her boyfriend at the time is like, "Yeah, no, we can totally do this. It's a great idea." She's like, "I don't know. You paint and I have a minimum wage job. Like, this is scary. I don't know if this is a good idea. But her boyfriend, he's like, no, no, no. We can totally be great parents.
This baby is what this relationship needed. I know we're on the outs and we're practically broken up, but like this baby will fix all of our problems.
Right. And I know that your parents have already kind of sort of disowned you, but it's going to be fine. Sure, Jan. So we find Kate, and she's doing the only activity that I personally enjoy doing on the beach, and that is sinking. She's sinking because the waves are
Mm,
coming in and out. That's the only thing I like doing at the beach. I do not like the beach at all. I find it boring
mm.
because there's nothing to
Yeah,
do but
there's really
stay out
nothing
there
to do, but
and sink. There's nothing to do. Like,
yeah.
unless there's a boardwalk with some games and stuff. But no,
God, you are from New Jersey.
I am. I was at the fair. I was at the fair the other day, and the midway at the fair smelled like the boardwalk. And I got very excited. It smelled like sausage and peppers. It was great. But the beach itself, no, I could never. This is how we now know that Saeed has been gone for almost a week. Because Claire, I don't know, not Claire, Kate, has been keeping track of the days. Somehow she just knows it's been like a week. Saeed is still gone. She's still worried. And Jack is like, yeah, 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 okay, Claire. Kate, because my notes say Claire a lot. Claire's going to have her baby soon. We need to do something. I understand Saeed's missing, but the island is about to have a baby. It's a widespread event here. And Charlie, I started to feel so bad for Charlie again. I was starting to feel happy for him, but he's trying so hard to get in Claire's good graces. He's trying to connect with her.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't have any friends. And he's like, well, I could be your friend. And she sort of just blows him off. And he feels so dejected. And I'm so glad at this point that he has burned all of his drugs because that would have set him right off again. And we do not need that.
Yeah.
We have enough going on. So Claire goes to meet a psychic. So this psychic, he
The
reads your
worst,
palms.
the worst Australian accent.
Oh my God, I could do.
There's no way that one was real. No way.
No, no, that was some guy that they were like, "Hey, you have a really nice house. Do you wanna make an extra $50?" So he holds her palms in his hands after looking at them, closes his eyes, and he's like, "I can't do your reading today. Get out of my house." She's very confused. She's just like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" But he did know that she was pregnant, and she thought her friend had told him. But her friend was like, "No, I swear to you." Like,
He does pick up that she's pregnant, and she doesn't tell him, and she thinks her friend told him, but the friend didn't tell him either.
no. So maybe there is something to the psychic business after all in terms of this man. But we don't have time for that because Claire had another nightmare. Or did she? Because she is now having a nightmare about a man putting his hand over her mouth, pulling a knife to her stomach, trying to hurt her baby. And of course, Jack is like, listen, that's just a nightmare. You need to calm down or else you're going to go into early labor.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, 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 it's real. And Charlie, of course, believes her.
Of course.
Don't blame him.
Of course.
Of course. Charlie's just going to believe everything she says because he's like, I'm out here looking for a psycho with Scott and Steve. But who the hell are Scott and Steve? I don't know Scott and Steve. My name's not even Hurley. It is Hugo Reyes.
Hugo Reyes.
Ah, okay. Again, Hurley, you know what? You were right last episode. You might be right this episode too. Like, we should really know who is who, where you are, where you're from. So Charlie's trying to comfort Claire. He's like, I'm not leaving you. Like, I'm never going to leave. But then, right on the piggyback of that, Thomas dumps Claire. Thomas is finally like, listen, this isn't working. What about my painting? Like, this is real now. Like, it's starting to get real. And she's like, well, I can't do anything about it now. What about my painting? Like, dude, you should have thought about that before you said that they could be parents. He's a dick. He is now on my list of grudges. I don't like you, Thomas. Piss off. Like, one of the lowest things you can do is break up with your heavily pregnant girlfriend because you finally realize that you have to actually be a father.
Yeah, and you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It'll affect your painting.
You're painting
Yeah.
because you're doing so well. So Hurley is continuing on with his census.
Yep.
We meet a man from Toronto. He's the same guy that Locke was hunting with. His name allegedly is Ethan Rom, which feels like it's an anagram for something else. Like
I don't
like
think it is, but sure.
it just feels like a fake name. Like
Yeah. It's
it's
kinda
a fake
fake.
name. I've spent all that is the one thing I've spent all day actually focusing on. I'm like, what is Ethan Rom? I don't trust him. The way he's asking Hurley, like, what are you doing this for? And Hurley's just like, it seems like a good idea. Like, just his interaction with Hurley seems kind of suspect. And I'm also very suspicious of the way this man who is a castaway can make such amazing baskets because he has the basket of like coconuts. And I'm like, sir, Baron, how did you learn how to do that in Canada?
He took a class down at the community center.
So Jack is trying to talk to Claire about how maybe what you're experiencing isn't quite real. He tries giving her, I forget which medicine, but it's a medication. He's like, it's not going to harm the baby.
Like a sedative.
Just to keep her relaxed. And she's, no, I'm not having this. You don't trust me. She starts packing up and leaving for the beach. Very smart, Claire. Packing up all by yourself, marching yourself with your belongings through the jungle to get back to the beach. I love that for you. So smart. Uh, but she goes back to the psychic. The psychic somehow knows that Thomas dumped her, and while he agrees to do the reading again. And as he continues, he's like, I see more, but it's blurry. She asks, is blurry bad? He's like, yes, blurry is bad. And that's when he tells her, it's crucial that you raise this child. Don't let anybody else raise this child. There's no happy life for this child without you. It needs your protection. He's like, I have a plan. And she's like, no. If me and Thomas aren't getting back together, I'm putting this kid up for adoption. That's all I needed to know. And he's just like, you're not listening to me. Listen to me. This is very, very bad if you do that. She gets up and leaves. Shannon. She's giving Hurley a hard time about the list. He mentions the incident with Claire and her nightmare from the night before with the guy with the knife. And Shannon's like, oh, cool. I'm definitely not moving to the rape caves now. And Boone actually has his first really good idea. I was very proud of Boone for suggesting that Hurley get the manifest and compare that. Save yourself some time.
Yeah.
Good job, Boone. The only problem is Sawyer's got it.
Of course. Sawyer has everything.
Of course he does. Of course, Sawyer has all of the things. I'm surprised Sawyer doesn't have like the actual black box from the airplane at this point. Like, so Hurley marches himself over to Sawyer's little cabana and asks for it. And surprisingly, Sawyer's like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to take Kate's advice and play along and get along. And just gives it to him. No ultimatums, no sketchy deals. He's like, okay, yeah, here you go. Because really, what's he going to do with the manifest anyway? Charlie finds Claire marching her way through the woods. And she's being really stubborn with Charlie trying to help. And oh, look, she might be going into labor because she's stressed out and having another panic attack.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Well.
She's like, go get Jack, Charlie. And Charlie's like, I'm not leaving you. If I can do drugs, I can deliver a baby. Like, what?
Yeah. Yep. If I can inject a needle into my arm, I can deliver a human.
If I can dodge a wrench, I can dodge a ball.
Exactly.
But what really made me laugh in this moment is he's trying to calm her breathing down by like counting. And he's like, one sugar plum fairy, two sugar plum fairy. Like, that is the most British thing ever in this episode. Go get Jack. So, in all of this mess, we are now witnessing the adoption proceedings with Claire in Australia. She's meeting the adoptive family. The official is there with the paperwork. She's trying to sign it, and the pens aren't working. One pen doesn't work. Another pen doesn't work. There's like a whole pile of pens on the table now. But we know our girl Claire. She is a new age crystal astrology girly. She is taking this as a sign. She's like, oh, wait a minute. This is not meant to be. If I'm not meant to sign this paper, like, I guess the psychic man was right. So she's like, I changed my mind, gets up and leaves, goes right to the psychic's house. He's like, okay, I want to hear your plan.
Yeah, now
Right,
she wants to hear
psychic
him.
man. Now she wants to hear him out. And I very correctly, well, half correctly, was like, oh, okay, I'm assuming this is how she ends up on the plane. And that is actually. But I'm like, it's kind of weird that now he's like, oh, hey, this couple in Los Angeles is totally safe to raise your baby. After he was like, no, it's only you. Now he's like, well, now you have to get on this plane. It's the only way. Like, it's the only, I've seen 10,000 realities, Doctor Strange, and this is the only way that this ends out like, well. So Claire tells Charlie about this, and Charlie thinks that the psychic knew about this whole situation the whole time. And now Claire does. Claire's like, you know what? Yeah, he knew that this was going to happen. Which now I have a question if that's the case. If this is true, and if the psychic did know that there was going to be a plane crash, yes, and that they were going to be on the island and the baby was going to survive and she's going to have this baby, doesn't that mean that he also technically knows where she is and how to get them if he knows all of these things?
Well, I think he just saw that it was a plane crash on a deserted island. I don't think he knows where the island is, and nor do I think he could get to it.
Okay, because I'm just like, it's kind of sus that you're just like, all right, get on this plane that's going to crash. You'll be fine. Okay,
Well,
Mr. Psychic
you
Man.
got a point, because like, would he have known that the plane was going to crash?
Well, because that's I'm pretty sure that's what Charlie was insinuating when he's like, "Well, I think he knew."
No.
I feel like Charlie knew that the plane was going to crash because Claire even says, "Oh, maybe you're right. I think he did know there was never a couple in LA."
I don't think so. I think
Uh,
no, I don't think so. Because I mean, that's psychics are one thing, but I think he saw something about the baby, that she gave the baby up for adoption and something happened with the baby, something horrific, and that's what spawned well, you have to be the one to raise him. You can't give him up. You have to raise him yourself. And then it changes to, actually, if you don't want to do this, there is another way. I have a couple. I have two people that I know in Los Angeles that the baby will be safe with. So I think what he's seeing is a dark future about the baby and not necessarily Claire.
I don't know because now, as it stands, Claire doesn't think that there was a couple in LA. Claire thinks, as well as Charlie, that he knew that whatever's playing out now was going to play out because he was very insistent that she was on this specific flight.
Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate on this, really.
Mhm.
I think there is a couple in Los Angeles. I think he's more worried because Claire has kind of changed her mind multiple times. Oh, she's gonna give the baby away. Oh, now I've got to raise him. Oh, no, no, now if I'm not gonna raise him, then I've got to give him to these two people. So I think the pressure on Claire is to get her to actually go through with this. So I honestly believe that there was a couple in LA. Claire never got there because obviously the plane crashes. I know I said earlier, I think he sees the plane crash.
I guess I will just have to wait and
It's
see.
hard to put in words.
Exactly. It's everything's backwards and sideways and upside down all at the same time.
It's just
Um. Anyway, birthing crisis averted because she's not having contractions anymore. I think she finally trusts Charlie a little bit, realizes he's not going anywhere, and they go back to the caves. And Saeed returns. He's telling Jack about Danielle, and Locke is just standing around in the background looking very ominous. We're not alone because now we have the Whisperers, and Hurley returns with the manifest. He has compared all of the names he has compiled with the survivors, and all of the names have been there but one. There's one person that's given me a name that they are not on this manifest. And then that's when we cut and Ethan Rom walks up to Claire and Charlie and is just like, hey guys, hey Claire. And the episode ends. However, while I do not trust Ethan Rom right now and he can kick rocks, um, do we know for sure that Hurley is aware of the fact that Sawyer's name is not Sawyer?
Probably not. But I have a feeling that Sawyer could probably like weasel his way through it. Like he probably told him what his last name was, and he finds it by the last name, and he's like, "Oh, it says here that your name is, this," and he's like, "Oh, but I go by Sawyer." Like I feel like he's a con man, and Hurley is so easy to Scooby Doo.
This is true. This is true because the way it's framed, they want you to think that the one person is Ethan, and it very well could be Ethan. But I was thinking about it this morning, and I'm like, well, what if it's a throwing you for a loop and a misdirect when they want you to think it's Ethan because he's a sketchy man when it's actually Sawyer who has been living and operating under an assumed name this whole time.
Yeah. So now we've got questions of identity. Who is who?
Yeah.
Did Ethan give a
Right.
name?
Like, who is this one person? If you're going to come up with a fake name, why would you name yourself Ethan Rom?
So I guess in my follow-ups,
Uh-huh.
kind of got into some of this a little bit, especially the psychic. Do you believe that the psychic was genuine? Or do you believe it was just a bunch of hokum and none of it really mattered?
Okay. So while I generally believe that psych are a lot like the ones telling you to go find your bike in the basement of the Alamo.
Yes.
Yeah, I do believe that this one in universe has proven himself to actually be legit because the way he would talk to Claire, be like directly about her pregnancy, or immediately knew that Thomas had broken up with her. Like there was no leading him into those questions. These were things that he would ask her himself after just like looking at her hands and doing whatever it is he does.
I've always felt that he was fairly genuine. There was just too much coincidence, especially like knowing she's pregnant and all that. Like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because she doesn't show up to him like 9 months pregnant.
No, not at all.
Right. Like it's very early. So Claire is having nightmares and having visions and is in great fear that someone in the castaways is trying to harm her baby. Why do you think anybody would want anything to do with Claire's baby? Is there any justification in Claire's fears, or are they really just nightmares?
I would like to think that they are just nightmares because, like, who in their right mind on an island that is relatively small, relatively uncharted as far as this group goes? Like, what are they going to do with stealing a baby or harming a baby? Like, it's going to get found out very quickly.
Right.
There's no getting away with that. So, what would be the point? What are you trying to accomplish? So, logically, anybody in their group, like, no. But this doesn't account for these magical others
Okay.
that we are now just learning about.
So you think that there is something to Danielle claim of these others? Wasn't it possible that
I
Saeed just essentially been being tortured in this cabin hut thing for who knows how long, couple of days probably. He's not feeling real good. Do we know that the whispers that he heard are real? Or are they essentially like he's been listening to a ghost story, so now that idea is in his head. He gets out in the dark jungle and there's nobody else around.
That could be very plausible, especially because I think he was in the really tall grass when that happened.
Yeah.
And when the wind kicks up through the tall grass, like, you kind of hear it the way the blades hit against each other.
And also, Danielle, they were sick. Robert was sick. Alex was sick. And it was these others that they got it from. I've always looked at more of Robert and Alex probably legitimately did get sick, some type of tropic disease, and either die. And I'm thinking, obviously, Robert got shot. I think if there was this big sickness on the island, it would eventually get everyone, especially over 16 years.
Especially if it was, like, a waterborne sickness or something within the boars or whatever it is she's eating, like, it would have gotten to her eventually if there was
Yeah. How did
a
she never get
transmittable
how did
disease.
she never get sick? Exactly. So Ethan, obviously, the episode ends with Hurley coming to the realization that Ethan was not on the plane. Is it Ethan's not on the plane, or is it maybe Ethan's not? Because he was hesitant to give Hurley his information anyway.
Ethan win his ticket in a game of poker an hour before the plane.
Oh my God. Terrible. So, yeah, and this is under a false name. So he didn't want to give him a name. It's easy to give Hurley a fake name. Hurley's going to really go through the manifest. Come on.
Right, well, at this point, up until Boone suggesting it, the thought of the manifest didn't even cross my mind.
Right. I mean, it would be easier
Like
than going around asking everybody for their names. It would just be
right,
cross the name, but you're still going to have to cross the names off the list anyway. So he's
exactly,
got to deduct enough people to realize, oh wait, there's one name that I have that's not on here, and Ethan.
exactly.
Like, it would have been a little while. So, what's our vibe on Ethan? It is creepiness. It's always wet.
He's so creepy.
He's always wet. Why is he always wet?
I don't know. That's not healthy, he should get himself looked at.
Right.
Um, but it is just creepy, and again, I don't trust his basket weaving skills. That is the skill you've spent time on that island. You have been there for a while.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're weaving intricate baskets like that to carry coconuts or whatever was in there. I don't trust him. The
Well,
vibes are off.
we'll have to see in the next, at least the next two episodes that we'll talk about, if we get some answers about anything. Who are these others? That Danielle says exist. What are the whisperers? Like, who is Ethan? Was he on the plane? Was he not on the plane? And
Is
who is
even from Toronto.
is he even from Toronto? All right, so our next two, I know I said earlier that we get a lot of these origins flashbacks before we get any repeats.
Mhm.
That was a lie. Episode 11 is All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues, which is a Jack episode. And episode 12, Whatever the Case May Be, which is a Kate episode.
Yay. Okay.
So we are going to go back to the well with a Jack episode and a Kate episode next. But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys for listening. If you are listening on Spotify, please leave us a comment on Spotify. Leave us a rate and review. You can rate us 5 stars. Leave us a review right there on your podcast platform of choice. As of today, the show is on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, and I believe I'm waiting for an email from YouTube, and it'll be there as well. So, however you're listening to the show, thank you for listening. If I did not list off your chosen platform, please just comment on Spotify and tell me what platform you want me to get it on, and I'll look into it. But thank you guys for listening, and we will see you right here next week on Not Penny's podcast. Everybody, thanks for tuning into the show. You're probably thinking it's been a minute since we did an episode. Yep, life's gotten in the way a little bit. I've started rehearsals for a show. We just had some stuff kind of going on, real life problems. And, unfortunately, when the real life problems come up, the creative takes a back seat. So I do apologize for a little bit of a break, but we've got a couple episodes in the can that I got to get edited and uploaded. So you're going to see some new episodes over the next couple of weeks. And we're gearing up to jump back in. We're about halfway through season 1, and we're to pick back up with recording and keep this thing moving forward. But thank you guys for being patient with us. A few of you have messaged us left comments on episodes asking, "Hey, what's going on? Everything's cool. Yeah, everything is fine. We just needed to take a little bit of time off to deal with some real life problems, but we are getting ready to head back to the island. Matter of fact, let's get to it right now."